Yeah, thank you, Sebastian. I'll be quick. So similar with the other organization, we're at emergency management. In the Philippines right now, we have 14,000 confirmed cases of COVID-19. Um, I don't know if we're on the other side already, just like what you mentioned, but recoveries are getting better, and we are on the fourth week over since we had the lockdown. So we're supposed to be graduating next week, but the government just decided to extend it until April 30. So I have 2 more weeks to go. And so on the next slide, and in terms of challenges and issues, currently we have our cities are still struggling to get okay to convince the national government to conduct mass testing across the country. We feel that even before we, after, we lift the lockdown, if we don't know how many people are infected, it's still going to be difficult because Metro Manila is very big, as you would remember. And I think we're also having challenges in providing assistance to the poor. We have a lot of informal settler families. I don't know if other associations have that. So currently, we're still discussing with the Ministry of Social Welfare and Development on how to improve the logistics in providing the assistance to the poor. Um, it's really a roller coaster of emotions every day. So sometimes the national government see us as an ally, and then next week we're being blamed in the newspaper. But we just keep on doing our job. And then also because the number of cases are getting higher, we have um, challenges on providing isolation facilities. Some of the COVID-19 patients are not being accepted in the hospitals anymore. So this gives imprimatur to local governments, to cities, to provide isolation facilities. And then on the next slide, in terms of response, we're a bit, I don't know if I could say we're a bit lucky in LCP, because we have been effective in linking our members with the appropriate ministries and national government agencies. In fact, we were able to negotiate for a 1 month internal revenue allotment to be released to our members. So that's a big help in terms of retrofitting our basketball courts and transforming them into these isolation facilities. And we're also very fortunate that the national government listened to relaxing the consultation requirements so that cities can realign portions of their budget to buy those protective equipments and finance other immediate expenses to combat the spread of COVID-19. Um, we also serve, I think it was shared earlier, we also serve as a logistical manager, connecting our members to suppliers of PPE, of those equipments, or ensuring that the medical frontliners are being shuttled from one point to another. We are the main contact. Even if we're working at home, we're like a 24/7 call center, addressing all these problems from various sectors and making sure that our members can respond to them. In terms of, I think I'm on the last slide. Let's check. I think for international cooperation, it was already articulated earlier. It's important that our members or the association is able to communicate better during crisis. It's often said that crisis brings the worst in people. I believe that during crisis it brings out the real us. So it's important that we talk better, we negotiate better, and um, we always see how challenging the situation is from the national government perspective, from our constituency's perspective. And it's really important to get the message across. It's easy to complain. It's easy to complain that policies change. In the Philippines, they issue a policy and then the next day it changes, and it's good that they listen to the cities, but I think it's important that we also able to communicate better during crisis. So I think for international cooperation, we can learn from each other how to talk to the ministries, to our constituents, to our member cities. I think that's very important. There's also a need to discuss. I know there's no a new normal until 2022, but I think local governments are asking now how to bring the local economy back on its feet. I think, you know, the previous speakers are correct. No money is coming in, but now how do you provide basic services after the lockdown or post 2020? So those are the things that I think if we can come up with materials that, you know, other local government associations could benefit from, that would be great. So future vision, I'm a Pollyanna. So I think COVID-19 underscores the importance of local government association now more than ever. It pays to have the number of the minister in your cell phone to connect it to a city that's, you know, that's in dire need of an information directly from the minister. So, you know, it pays to be friendly because now you really have to connect, and it's fast and it's urgent. And I think for the Philippines, we're seeing now, despite the negative discussions in the media, how local government and cities specifically are in the best position to respond to crisis. How will this change now intergovernmental relationship later on? I still bet for the better. I think now they will see, we have built a good reputation that when crises happen, LGUs are your, cities are your number one ally. So I think that's it. I think that's our presentation. Thank you.
I was going to say a few things. Just thank you, Veronica, for this. I mean, you bring, you know, at the end, some positive aspects in all of this. I think, you know, like two things I want to flag from your intervention. First of all, when you gave the example, you know, that your government is giving, you know, more flexibility on the use of budget. I think, you know, like in a way, a crisis like this can create also some new ways and innovation and things, you know, that we were not allowed to do in the past, which now, you know, could open the door for more changes in the way that, you know, we want our national government sometimes to give us more flexibility in some of the functions that we play. So I think that this is very good. The second point that you also said in that sort of more positive notes was, you know, when a crisis like this, it brings the real us. We negotiate differently, you know, we communicate in different ways as well, and it makes us stronger, you know, like to be able to together with other levels of government, you know, with our members, with our municipalities, with our colleagues, to be able to be more true, you know, in the way that we do things. So that's also something very very positive. So thank you for that. You know, I think it's ending this first roundtable on a more positive note to see that there are, you know, like things that we will learn from this difficult period that will be bringing us, you know, in new, you know, ways of working in the future that would be probably better. So unfortunately, we don't have time, you know, like to answer, you know, the many questions that, you know, were put in the chat room. There are so many of them. I'm not going to flag any specific ones. I think, you know, we will circulate them and ask people, you know, like to exchange among themselves to respond and to provide more information. But in closing, I just want to say again, a big thank you to all the speakers, to all the ones who asked questions and contributed to the discussions. A big thank you to UCLG and the CIB Secretariat to make this happen. As next step, we will continue, the CIB will continue to work with UCLG and members to gather the experiences and responses of local government associations in the coming period. We have, you may know, created a Google Drive account where associations can share their best practices on what's happening in their country, in their international programs as well. This Google Drive will act as an online library. So we invite you to upload any of your own good ideas, documents, and also to tap into the resources that already exist. So you'll get, a link to Google Drive as part of the report of this meeting. And every 2 weeks, we will be circulating a summary of the information that we collect in the Google Drive from all of your contributions. Last point I want to make is some of us are also involved in the UCLG Task Force on Emergency Responses that is coordinated by Cités Unis France. Just to say that, the task force is also working on obviously the current crisis and the current situation, especially to look at how we could support more fragile, local governments in Africa. So again, thank you very much, everyone. Merci, gracias. And as we all say to one another, stay safe. So back to you now. Thank you very much, everyone.